What up, Chipper?
How we doing?
I'm good, brother. Yourself?
Where you at?
LA. SoCal boy now. Right up the street from Mr. Wright.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Like We Never Left, where we bring together your favorite New York sports personalities. This time, a little bit of a twist as we bring together three men who were fierce rivals in the National League East for a decade, but then spent a few weeks together as teammates for Team USA at the World Baseball Classic. Let's welcome in three men who have 50 combined years in the major leagues, including 18 All-Star appearances. We welcome in Chipper Jones from the Atlanta Braves, Jimmy Rollins from the Philadelphia Phillies, and David Wright from the New York Mets. Guys, if we said 15 years ago, Chipper, that you guys would be sitting here and having friendly chats instead of competition on the field, what would you think?
I wouldn't have been surprised at all. Bunch of mutual respect for those guys. Each guy, kind of the cornerstone of the franchise, and a big part of the success that each of those teams had was because of the guys that are sitting here today.
I would like to say of those 50 years that Chipper has most of those 50. Just make that clear.
That's true.
Between myself and David, Chipper, he's holding down a good 47 of those 50 years combined.
And the majority of the All-Star games probably too.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Growing up, just watching the Braves, I think like all of us, you come home, they were always on TV. It was a little intimidating getting to third base and talking to Chipper like, man, this is Chipper Jones. Man, this is crazy. And then you understand that you have a job to do and he has a job to do. And you started respecting, you come in respecting him, but you got there trying to earn his respect. Because if you did that, you felt that you did something. And then, going on to David, when he would get to second base, it took me a little while to start talking to anybody from the Mets, period. Let's just keep that 100. And I think, what helped was playing together on Team USA. We were locker mates, but I respect him on the field, and it's like you don't like him because he's so good. He was, clutch against us. He didn't do anything wrong. He was always in the right place at the right time. So after a while, and especially after that, although I was trying to knock their heads off, it was like, you know what? David was cool.
It took 12 or 15 years, but I finally got a compliment from Jimmy Rollins. What a day. With Chipper being the OG here. Being a young third baseman, all I had to do was look across, and every time we played the Braves, try to emulate, what Chipper was doing and try to use him as kind of the model, of a National League or a third baseman in general. And then, like Jimmy said, it took a few years for us to get friendly at second base. I can't think of a more intimidating second base and shortstop than you got Chase to my left when I'm sitting in there thinking that I'm trying to steal signs on second base. Jimmy to the right, just mean mugging me and not talking to me. So it was always this back and forth. And obviously, I got a great deal of respect for both these men. Jimmy took a little longer. I always had a great deal of respect for him, not necessarily his mouth sometimes, but I think that, the way they played the game, both these guys.
This is what I missed being down in little old Atlanta. I didn't get to experience the venom that goes between New York and Philadelphia. It's like New York and Boston, New York and Philly. I didn't realize there was this much venom, man. I was missing out because I could talk trash with the best of them back in the day.
Oh, man.
We got 4 beat writers traveling with us, and y'all got 44 apiece. I would have been in so much trouble shooting my mouth off up there. It's not even funny.
The Braves won their last division title in this run in 2005. The Mets won it in 2006. And then things started to get a little chippy, should we say? No offense, Chipper. But I want to read these quotes to you guys, and I want to hear your reaction now all these years later, okay? As I said, the Mets won the division in 2006. They take the Cardinals to Game 7 in the NLCS, come within a whisker of making the World Series. In January of 2007, this is what Jimmy Rollins says. We're the team to beat. Those dudes, meaning the Mets pitchers specifically, those dudes are getting old. The Mets had a chance last year, Congratulations, last year is over. This is how David Wright responded shortly after. Until somebody steps up and dethrones us, we're the defending NL East champs, and we're going to act like it. Talk is very, very cheap. Now, my favorite one came from Carlos Beltran, who, Jimmy, when Carlos was told what you said, Carlos said, good for him. What'd they win last year?
This is absolute gold right here.
Unfortunately,
I'm just gonna sit back and listen.
Unfortunately, my quote didn't age too well.
Jimmy, you ended up being right by the end of that year, but in the moment, what are you thinking is, I mean, listen, clearly you know what you're doing, but as everything's kind of evolving here, what are you thinking?
I mean, I enjoyed it. You know, I'm from the Bay Area. Niners were winning, the A's were winning, so it wasn't about being good. It was, you know, how much trash can you talk and still go out and back it up? You know, so I came from that. My mom, I learned from her. I mean, she would sit there and talk trash to us because she was a softball player. And really not until 2007 when I won an MVP did she say, okay, you're the best baseball player in the house. I mean, it took a long time for her to admit that. So for me, you know, if you felt something and you really believed it, you know, speak it into existence. We talk about it in the clubhouse, but no one ever says anything publicly, how we want to win, how we want to win. Then a shift in my perspective, it wasn't about winning, it was about beating these guys. Like, you could talk about winning, but there's a difference between winning and trying to beat someone. When you're trying to beat someone, it becomes personal. I
never got mad. You know, I think I love trash talk. I mean, I think one of the best trash talkers out there was Dontrell Willis, also in the same division. I loved facing Dontrell because he'd start yapping on the mound and you turn it right around and you hit one right by his ear and all of a sudden you start, I love it. You know, I loved every part of it. And so when Jimmy kind of started it up, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool because I always tried to say the right things, like with Atlanta, you know, well, Atlanta's Atlanta, you know, until somebody proves they can beat them, you know, it's their division and we have to overtake them. You always try to say the right things. And then Jimmy came out and said what he felt, and it was like, all right, you know, game on, you know, let's do this. And I think it freed us up to express ourselves a little more in the media, and I think that the fans took that to heart, and it became just a very intense and a great atmosphere to play baseball.
They kicked our butts for, I mean, like 140 something games. I mean, all year long. I mean, they absolutely destroyed us. And there were times I'm looking in the mirror like, maybe it's not gonna happen. Hey guys, I said, hey, let's just try to get a wild card. You know, let's try to get a wild card and see how close we can get. And
I remember our first game. I think it might have been our home opener, the first time you guys came to New York that year.
Oh, y'all got me so
Jimmy
good.
Made an error. Jimmy made an error late in the game.
Got me so good.
The fans went nuts, and we're all in the dugout going nuts, you know, because he had just gotten finished, you know, popping off, and all of a sudden he makes a crucial error late in the game.
Crucial.
I think we put like a 5 or 6 spot up that inning. And, you know, we're all just chuckling to ourselves in the dugout, but, you know, we all know how this played out. And, of course, it's the last laugh. But you had to take it personally because if you're a competitor and you want to go out there and win and you want to win at all costs, you have to take those things personally. And when you go out there, like Jimmy said, you want to beat their brains out.
So the 2007 and 2008 seasons end kind of similarly, with the Phillies chasing down the Mets for the division title and the Phillies win the World Series in 2008. Spring of 2009, all three of you have the unique experience of being in the same clubhouse for the first time ever. Even through all-star appearances, all three of you were never in it together at the same time. Team USA, the World Baseball Classic, and there was some tension in the room. And the way the clubhouse is drawn up with uniform numbers, Jimmy Rollins is wearing number 1. 2 lockers over is David Wright, number 4. Right in between them is number 2, Derek Jeter. Jimmy, what do you remember about how this scene unfolded?
Obviously, you know who's on the team. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, they know the tension between the Mets and Phillies, you know, what's been made between David and myself. So I really hope I'm on one end of the locker room, he's on the other end of the locker room. You know, we'll figure it out in between. You know, we'll be here. We'll find a way to put it behind us, but I don't want to, because I don't want to lose that edge just because we're playing for Team USA. You know, I remember that walking into the clubhouse, walk in and open the door and boom, you know, David's right there. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm looking down the right side as the locker room goes deep to the right, and I don't see my name. I'm like, man, that's kind of messed up. I don't know where I am. And so I just, walk in, I look to my left, and it's right there, the first locker. I'm just sitting there and just like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, are you serious? Like right next to him. And he wasn't, I don't think he was there at the time, right when I walked in, but I'm just sitting there and I was kind of just going through myself, getting myself together, but really trying to get my mind wrapped around, I'm about to be playing with this dude. And we're sitting right next to each other. Like, do I say hello? Do I put it behind us? It's a lot going on because I've never had to face it. It was always on the other side. We'll run out to the field. What's up, D? What's up, Jim? And that was it. And it's time to, try to knock your brains in. And then, David comes to his locker. He's sitting there, his face forward, me face forward. And then Jeter at some point just walks by and he walks to his locker. And you could feel the tension. I don't know if the rest of the locker room did, but in that little corner, you could definitely feel the tension. And Jeter walks in and he looks at David, looks at me, and he backs us. I said, hell no, I'm getting in between of this. And we just started laughing. And, that's the captain. He just broke the ice. And it's like, you know what? This is Team USA. That's all good. And I think I turned around and said, what's up, David? He said, what's up to me? And, Mr. Captain America walks us off and we advanced on. And it's made for a great story. But at that point, I got to see him in a different light. Because prior to that, I didn't want to see him just on the field against them, to root against them. But here I am having to pull for a guy and work out how we get together during this set, and it was okay. I was like, David's cool, man. I see why, Chase seems to be okay with him, which I didn't like, but I get it now.
The way I see it, Derek Jeter brokered peace in the National League East. Is that accurate?
That sounds about right. That's the exact way I remember it, although I'm pretty sure I was probably the bigger man and said hello to Jimmy before Jimmy said hello to me. I probably took the high road and Jimmy didn't want to, but I was probably the guy that,
that's right.
Go first. But no, that's about exactly what happened.
It was kind of eerily similar to what happened in 06, my first experience with Team USA. Jeter's beat me out of 2 World Series, and not just beat me, like won 8 straight games in a World Series against him. Pretty much dominated. So yeah, I wasn't a big captain fan my damn self, and I walk into the clubhouse and he walks right up to me and said, me and you were gonna hang this whole time. And I was like, cool, all right. Just you can't dislike the guy.
Right.
And he has a feel for every room that he's in. He's gonna break the ice right away. It's typical Derek Jeter fashion.
The manager of this group is Davey Johnson, and he has history with all 3 of your teams, having played for the Braves and the Phillies and managed the Mets to a World Series champion. David, I have a feeling you were peppering him with questions about the '86 Mets.
Yes. And, I got along with Davey great, with the history with the Mets and everything, and just the even keel, just the same temperature no matter what the situation. It was a pleasure to play for Davey.
He called me up that offseason. First thing he said to me was, I need a number 3 hitter. And I was like, I can't believe you're calling me, but I'm in. I'm not going to pass up this opportunity, again, because I had so much fun in 2006. And in 2009, man, I couldn't throw it up and hit it. I think I was 0 for 10 with 8 punch outs, and these guys will tell you that's not me. I had a little oblique thing working, and at one point I finally just told Davey, I said, I'm not doing you guys any good. You need to play David. And man, it was just so awesome to see David kind of take that opportunity and just run with it, and him to get that moniker of Captain America. I was just like, because the day that I left, I believe we got 10 run rule, did we not, by Puerto Rico?
We got pretty good.
I crushed, yeah.
Latchman came in and he was livid in the clubhouse. He was throwing stuff, our pitching coach and whatnot. And I was like, man, this might be a good time to be getting out of here. The whole David, puts the team on his back.
Captain America. And I think that's when I gained more respect for him. The way he went out, it was like every time he came down to the line, he was the batter up. he found a way to get it done. And there were times I'm sitting there, I'm on second base, walk off in Miami, and I'm like, come on, man, like I've seen you do this enough. Like you kill us. This is if there's any time I'm going to root for you to get it done, it's now, and I'll be damned. It was just like, see, that's David, and that's why he's clutch.
I try to just concentrate on the pitcher when I'm up to bat, but for whatever reason, I glanced at Jimmy, that at bat in Miami, and I saw Jimmy clapping and putting his hand it pumped me up even more because, it wasn't just words. Like when we got along and shook hands and said, let's let bygones be bygones and went our separate ways. It wasn't that way. Like we genuinely started pulling for each other with Team USA across the front of our chest. And to see him on second base, big situation, pumping his fists and clapping his hands, saying, let's go, it just fired me up so much that I didn't want to let him down.
I learned a lot today, man. I didn't know there was this much venom between these two guys. I was just, laid back. Hey, man, what's going on? There was never any venom between me and these two guys. It was always between me and Bobby Valentine and me and the Mets fans. So, I didn't have any problem telling them where to go, but I would have never said that to these guys.
Jimmy, I've got one more for you. The three of you guys together are on a golf course. Who's the man to beat?
I'll finish, I don't know, a good 10 strokes behind whoever's in second place.
That's not true. I heard this guy plays every day.
So is it more trash talk before the match or during? What do you think, David?
With Jimmy, it's probably the entire time. Before, during, after. I mean, judging by history, he'll probably talk trash before, talk trash during, and end up winning things. So,
Guys, listen, it's been great hearing your stories about competing with and against each other. David Wright, Jimmy Rollins, and Chipper Jones, thank you for making us feel like we never left.